Let's talk about sector rotation. This was a comment that was left on my channel where I've been talking about sector rotation now for weeks, and a question from a viewer who wanted more explanation to exactly what that is. I love when I get comments like this because sometimes I just talk as my audience understands something, and when you guys don't, I like it for when you rein me back and say, hey, can you explain this topic a little bit more? So always do that. Make sure you leave comments. I read all of them. I respond to most of them, but I definitely read all of them. And if it's something that I think would help out when people are watching the channel, something that I can explain or teach further, I would absolutely love to do it. So make sure you go to statsettraining.com. You can reach out to me there. We have a free trading course and then a trading plan course as well, which I'll describe to you guys in a second. But first, we're going to talk again about sector rotation. So sector rotation is essentially the idea that it's not one sector that's going to make a bull market for a long period of time. We've been in a bull market for a year and a half now. This was spurred on a lot, as we know, by semiconductors and by AI. So that is great. You know, it got us out of the slump. It got people interested in capital markets and money moving around. But if this is going to be sustained for the long term, then we need to see some sector rotation. This is what I've been talking about for the last couple weeks or longer. If you've been watching the channel, I've been talking about different sectors that I think money could go into. So the idea here is you have something like SMH, you have something like semiconductors, which again was leading this market completely out of the doldrums of what was going on with the interest rates and Russia, Ukraine, and all these things. Then AI comes along, and we start to get this new industry that could increase productivity and whatever idea or framework you want to give behind it. And that spurs on this SMH, which is just our semiconductor index. If you look over here and you see the monthly chart, this 400% gain just absolutely ripping here as we came out of this base right here. So just absolutely monster. That's great. And again, that can pull up a lot of these ships. But you have to put yourself in the shoes of a portfolio manager or a hedge fund manager. If I own, say, 5% of semiconductors and it triples, well, now most of my fund, 15% or more, is semiconductors. And now I am incredibly exposed and I am incredibly weighted to that sector. So even if the sector continues to go, my investors are not going to be excited if I just own the hottest sector and that's all I own and there's nothing I'm going to do with it. So at some point, I need to take some of that profit to de-risk that sector and then apply that somewhere else. And this happens all the time. There's so many sectors and there's so many funds out there that are mandated to be in the market 100% of the time, or 90% of their portfolio has to be invested, or things like this, to the long side. So if I'm going to then take profits off the semiconductors, I need to funnel those profits somewhere else. So that's what rotation is, and that's why rotation is very important. And I have some charts that you can see, and you can see it happening real time in the market. So I wanted to go back, and first I wanted to highlight this first chart right here and just show that today, as I'm recording this, the SPY broke out into new all-time highs. Now, if we look at the semiconductors, it's not into new all-time highs. That means that there's some other sector out there that pushed us up into new all-time highs. There's some area of the market that's moving outside of this. Nvidia, again, very strong stock, of course, but not getting to this all-time highs. So this is the chart of gold when I presented it a while ago and said, hey, look at this kind of cup and handle. It looks interesting. And that's the monthly chart of gold today. So again, you can see semiconductors struggling for a little bit, moving sideways, gold pushing up. So that's going to rotate money. Basically, there's people out there that are selling semiconductors in some degree, and they are buying gold. Now, they're also selling semiconductors and they're buying energy. Look at the energy over the last few weeks. Just monster move, again, with semiconductors staying sideways. We even have MSOS, which is weed, continuing its rally and putting in a nice looking candle here as well. So it's very common to see, okay, the high flyers, maybe you know, they obviously can continue to go. There's nothing saying that Nvidia is going to stop by any means. But when you see this rotation, this is what's very important, that when you're in a bull market, your job is to try to figure out where the money's going to rotate into, because that's going to give you the biggest, in my opinion, risk and reward ideas. So simple way to do it, you know, I'm here on the Trade Ideas web version. I can take a look here every day, and this is just telling me, hey, these are the sectors that are up today, and these are the sectors that are down today. So I've talked about this sector scope before. So if I click here on URA, you can see that uranium I have drawn in is holding this massive support zone and is pushing up today. Even we have UNG and FXI and all these down. So again, a lot of what my job is looking at these charts and saying, okay, where do I think we're going to rotate into? So that is the idea behind this sector rotation idea, this sector rotation strategy. So I just wanted to quickly show because it's gaining more interest. Again, if you haven't gone to statsettrading.com recently, you definitely should. There's a lot of things. I did a complete website overhaul. We have our free trading course right here. So, you know, completely for free, 36 lessons long. If you're a beginner trader, talking about technical analysis, fundamental analysis, all of those things, very, very simple and straightforward. Here's where you can sign up for the newsletter, or at the bottom of the page too, you can put in your email here and sign up for this newsletter. And then we have our advanced trading plan course. So I had someone request me walk through it a little bit. So when you click on this page, it just brings you to, let's go back here, to this right here, right? Once you're in and you've paid, there are two options. One in which you'll take this course and you kind of go through it yourself and figure out build your own trading plan from scratch. That's the point of that. We'll go through that. And then the other one is at the end of this course, I'll sit down with you and review what you've done. So this is how the course is set up. There is 20 lessons. Each lesson has both a video and on top of a video, a pretty long blog post just talking about everything that you can see in the video, whether you're an auditory learner, whether you learn by reading. I want to make sure both of those are covered. And then each lesson actually covers a part of this PDF that you'll get access to, in which you're going to fill out as we go through. See, the first lesson here is your trader profile. So this talks about what you currently know, where you currently are in your life, and that will help guide what trading style and securities and instruments that you go through. And you can just fill this in as you go. So again, if you chose the self option, that you're doing this by yourself, then you'll, at the end of this, you'll have a filled in trading plan that will tell you when to enter, when to exit, what security type you're going to use, what time frame you're going to use. All of that will be completely taken care of for you. And then again, if you pick the option where you'll sit down with me at the end, we will go through this together. But the point of this course is that every professional trader who is making a living doing this, or actually even just having good success doing this, that I have ever met, has a trading plan. And I find a lot of amateur traders don't, and they don't really know where to start to build a trading plan. So the idea that I had here was, why don't we go through step by step? Each of these boxes is a lesson, and have you fill out a trading plan, and it will tell you how and when to back test, what markets, hold time, all of these things will be completely covered in this course step by step. So if you are someone who is getting started, or even if you're a very professional trader and you've been doing this for a long period of time and you don't have access to a trading plan, this could very much help you out. I don't care if you're a brand new trader or someone who's been trading for a long period of time. Having a trading plan and refining that trading plan, I think more than anything else you can do in the market, will help increase your performance. And we're having an introductory price right here. So if you're interested at all, check it out. Again, just had a request to go through it. So there it is. And that is what we're talking about when we talk about sector rotation. So stay tuned this weekend. As always, we are going to go through the markets. We're going to talk on the weekly charts, what happened this week. There's some very interesting charts to go through. So again, to make sure that you're not missing that, make sure you go to statsettrading.com and make sure you click this sign up button and put in your email right there. And I will email you when the video is up, and everything when it has to do with the charts. I add charts, I do little write-ups. All of that will be included in there as well. So thank you guys very much for coming by and watching, and I'll talk to you soon.